All right, welcome to longevity, upper body strength, lower body mobility, day 1, follow along workout. So this is the first day of my longevity program, which are workouts designed to improve your mobility, flexibility, and strength in one workout. Ideally, the workout is under an hour. So I got my coffee, I got my mic set up, I'm ready to roll. What you're gonna probably need at home, heavy dumbbells, some light dumbbells, a bench, a pillow, something you can hold on to like a pole or a wall, and obviously another wall too for our stretches. And that's pretty much it. So we're gonna run through it together today. It's gonna consist of a dynamic warm-up and then 5 supersets. So you're gonna have 1 upper body exercise followed directly with a lower body flexibility or mobility exercise, and no rest time. So basically your mobility is gonna be the rest time, and it's super efficient and super quick. And you might be thinking, is it okay to stretch during your workouts? Yes, it's totally okay. I'm gonna link a bunch of research down in the comments that shows there is no negative effect of stretching during your workout. In fact, recently a study has come out that shows long duration stretching can actually elicit muscle hypertrophy. So that's pretty solid. Let's get started. I got my app here on the iPad. I'm gonna go ahead and start with our dynamic warm-up. We're gonna go cat-cows, open up the spine, a little mobility there, 10 reps. So for the cat-cow, you're gonna be on all fours, quadruped, wrist over the shoulders, under the shoulders, knee under the hips. From here, I'm going to flex all the way and then extend all the way. That's 1 rep. So let's go together. Just flex as far as you can, extend for 2. Don't forget to breathe. 3, just kind of opening up all of the ranges of motion in our back. Flexion and extension. I believe this is 6, 7, 8, 9, and let's get into 10. All right. Next up is our dynamic open books. So we did flexion and extension of the spine. Now we're gonna do rotation of the spine. This is gonna feel great for those of you who sit at a desk all day, or if you're moving a bunch. So I got my pillow down here. Now my bottom leg is gonna extend out. Top leg is bent at an angle. I'm gonna straighten out my spine, real straight line. Palms are on top of each other like so. I'm going to focus my eyes on my top palm, and then I'm going to rotate open all the way. Try to get all the other side if you can. That's 1. Keep this knee on the ground, and then come back. You should feel that in your mid back and your lower back. 2. You can inhale here. Exhale at the top. 3, 4, 5, 6. Hat's coming off. That's okay. 7. Make sure you put that knee down. 8. Feels freaking great. I played basketball last night for the first time in a long time, so I am stiff, and this is going to feel amazing for my tight joints and muscles. Okay, that was 10. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So again, bottom leg is straight, top leg is bent, palms on top of each other, rotate open. 1, 2, 3. Kind of feeling it in that mid back. My eyes are on my top palm that's moving. So basically that allows my neck to rotate with the rest of my spine. 6, 7. You might notice one side is a lot tighter than the other. 8. That's okay. We'll loosen it up. 9. One more for 10. There it is. Back. Okay, good. Nice work. All right, what's next here? Hip adductor. Okay, we're hitting inner thigh. So quadruped to start. Stick one leg out. Knee is straight and that foot is flat on the ground. And then from there, you're just gonna sit back on your heel, and you should feel a stretch in your inner thigh. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the goal here is basically to warm up all of our joints and our muscles. 9, increase our heart rate just slightly and improve and increase our body temperature. That's 10. Go ahead and switch sides. Same thing. Keep that foot flat on the ground. 1, and that knee straight. 2, You might need to modify your range of motion if you can't exactly do it like me, but that's totally okay, as long as you feel that stretch on the inner thigh. 6, 7, 8, 9, one more, 4, 10. Awesome, great. Okay, we got our 90-90 hip swivel, so this is working on hip external and internal rotation. We're gonna do some more 90-90 static stuff once we start with the workout. So, you're here in your 90-90 position, external rotation on the front side, internal there, 90 degrees hips, knees, ankles. Same for that back side. Put your hands behind you, and then you're just gonna swivel on your pelvis, back and forth, 15 reps, 2, 3. Now some of you won't be as upright as I am here, 5. So what you wanna do is kind of sit back, so the further away you are from your hips, the easier it gets. 7, 8, 9, 10, spicy, 11, 12, 13, 14, woo, and good, that's 15. Okay, we have our hip cars next. So this is kind of like the ultimate range of motion mobility exercise for the most part, just kind of warm-up wise. So I want to hold on to a wall or, you know, whatever you got for support. I'm going to start with my left leg. How many reps are we doing, App? We're doing 6. Thanks, App. So what I want to do is I'm going to start by coming up with my hip and sweeping my leg inside. That's external rotation and flexion. Then I'm going to open up at abduction, and then I'm going to rotate internally and swing while keeping my knee bent all the way back, extend, and then come back exactly where you came from, okay? So that's 1. So I'm gonna externally rotate, flex, open up, internally rotate as I bend my knee and extend my hip, and you should really feel that in here. So the goal with these hip cars is to be able to do this without compensating with your torso or any other joints. So be pretty strict with it. And again, if you need to decrease your range of motion, you can totally decrease your range of motion. Just make sure you aren't compensating with any other joints. Hey, Lucia. No, it's okay. So yeah, I'm filming this in a gym called Custom Fit in San Francisco. If you ever need personal training, you should hit them up. And you might see some people walking by today. That's okay. You at home might have some dogs or kids or family members that'll walk by as well. Okay, other hip, I'm gonna show you from the side. So external rotation, flexion, open up, internal rotation, keep the knee bent, extend at the hip, meet with the knees, extend again, rotate over, that's 1. And again, this is actually kind of like a general purpose warm-up. Gonna have it at the top of every longevity workout. And it's a great morning routine too for those of you who want to start your day with some form of movement, but you don't want to commit to a whole workout or a whole, 30, 20-minute mobility flexibility routine. I think this is 5. We're going to go 1 more. And 6. All right, last thing we're going to do, hip flexor stretch with shoulder cars. So we did hip cars, now we're going to go shoulder cars. So I'm in half kneeling. So in this position, before I start, I want to make sure I roll my pelvis forward. This is called a posterior pelvic tilt. What that does is kind of shorten the muscles here, and I get more of a stretch in the hip flexors. Sorry, lengthen. Now from here, I'm going to do a shoulder car. So I'm going to come into a flex position. Imagine an X on your bicep. Rotate the X away from your body, and as you do so, you're going to extend all the way, and then the back of the palm should land on your pant seam. So that's half a rep. Then I'm going to extend again, and then I'm going to internally rotate back where I came from. That's 1. How many are we doing, App? I think it says 6. Woo! 2. And again, with these cars, you want to be feeling the stretch here, plus keeping it pretty isolated to the shoulder joint. So nice low level of contraction through the glutes and the core is going to help here. Woo! Spicy. 5. 1 more. And I'm probably going to miscount some of these, and that's okay. Probably edit in post. And go ahead and switch. So I'll give you the front version. Again, half kneeling, posterior tilt at the pelvis, and then we're going to go into our shoulder bars. It's 1. So So at this point, you should feel like your core body temperature has increased. Maybe you're sweating to a lot. You should feel like you're breathing a little bit more heavier than you usually do. Heart rate should be slightly elevated. And that is all by design. 5, one more for 6. A little movement prep for us here. Okay, nice. That is the warm-up. Now we're gonna go into the actual workout. Okay, looking at my longevity app, I see that the first circuit is a 3-point row followed by 90-90 external rotation at the hip. So, couch, bench, whatever you got here, grab your weight. And I'm gonna go 3-point rows. So 3 points of contact, knee, foot, and palm. I'm gonna press my hand down. I want a relatively neutral spine from the top of my head to my pelvis, and I like to have a nice wide base for an extra supported core. Now from here, grab your dumbbell, shove your shoulder blade down and back. Start the movement by retracting your shoulder blade, and then the arms do the rest. We're gonna go for 8 reps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, good. Switch sides. Same thing, 3 points of contact. Spread out the legs, grab your weight. Remember to start the row with retraction of shoulder blades so you really feel in the mid-back, and then the arms will follow. I even will protract a little at the bottom, just for a little extra lat activation. 4, 5, 6, 7, and you notice I'm not cranking these out. I'm going nice and slow, just so I can really feel my muscles working. All right, 90-90 external rotation with a tad bit of contraction. So I'm going to get into my 90, again, 90 in the front, knee, ankle, hip, knee, ankle in the back as well. So external rotation is going to be this hip right here. What I want to do is I'm going to, with a nice tall spine, hinge forward, start my timer, 1 minute. And we're just gonna hang out here. If it's the first time you're doing this stretch, just hang out, passive stretch. If you want a little bit of an added challenge for the first 30 seconds, press this foot into the ground, which will contract the muscles that facilitate that contraction, or that range of motion of external rotation. Just kidding, internal rotation. And then after 30 seconds, you're gonna try to lift your leg up off the ground, which will activate these muscles here. So, 30 seconds, I'm hanging out, and again, lower body mobility, flexibility, while we do our upper body strength. Great way to just increase muscle mass and strength while improving joint range of motion in one workout. And you'll notice, kind of breathing heavily, obviously I'm talking, but this should be an adequate workout, and it gives you time to increase your weights and actually challenge yourself with a solid amount of weight, because you're resting 2 minutes, sometimes 1 minute in between. And a lot of times, by the way guys, I'm switching, so go ahead, find that position, reset the timer, 1 minute, hinge forward. A lot of times folks will, skip the rest time. They'll do like 30 seconds, or they'll just go into the next set, and that's fine. You'll get the heart rate up, the endorphins will be flowing, but after like 6 weeks, you won't be able to increase your weight. You need, at a minimum, 60 seconds, and ideally 90 to 180 seconds to give your muscles adequate rest, so then you can keep increasing the weight or the reps or even sets, and thus overloading, stressing your body, and then adapting by building back stronger and bigger muscles. We've got about 20 seconds here. And again, for this one, I'm feeling it in my glute back here, hanging out, and then notice again, my spine is relatively neutral. And as soon as I'm done with my stretch, boom, I'm back into my rows. So it is still pretty dynamic, and we're moving relatively fast, but you just got yourself 2 minutes of rest time for your upper body. All right, that's a minute. Let's get back into it. 3-point rows, set 2. All right, knee, foot, hand, ready, and go. Retract shoulder blades first, back down. I'm gonna feel it in my mid-back, my lats, and my biceps here. A little bit of core if you're going heavy enough. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Switch. Ready, and go. 1, 2, don't forget to breathe, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice, okay. Back down into our stretch. 90-90, starting with my right leg. From here, I'm hinging forward for a minute. So, external rotation at the hip is pretty damn important. So, the hip itself is a ball and socket joint. So what that means is that it has a ton of freedom to move. It can almost move in 180 degrees, almost like the shoulder, but not quite. So when you flex your hip, like when you bring your knee up closer to your center of mass or your tummy, you're not just flexing the femur. It's rotating and flexing at the same time. Same thing if you move it away from you or shoot it back, there's always a level of rotation that occurs. And that is why it's so important to build that rotational capacity in your hip. You'll get stronger, your movements will feel better, and you will decrease or mitigate your chances of injury, whether that be knee, lower back, or hip. So, yeah, all right, that's a minute. Go ahead and switch sides. And let's get into position 90-90, go. Awesome. So if you have issue with getting into this position, there's a couple of modifications that I'll put into the app as well. And you know, when you're part of the longevity group, we have a whole support community, and you have access to me and Coach Ryan to ask literally any question you want. So typically people will charge a lot of money for that. And for us, it's 25 bucks a month. You get this great mobility and strength program, and you have access to us as coaches. And usually, folks are prioritizing their mobility. They maybe have some issues that they're working through, and we encourage the folks in the longevity program to talk to us about their issues, and if they need certain modifications for certain things, we won't hesitate to either film a special position just for you and send it to you, or just modify the program just for you. Even though it is a wide group program, but we take the time to modify if we need to. All right, that's a minute. Let's pop back up, last set here. 3-point rows, starting on the left side, knee, foot, hand, straighten out that spine, toes out, and we're gonna pull from the shoulder blade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There it is, switch sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, great work, everybody. Let's get into our last round of 90-90 external rotation, starting the timer now, and dive in deep here. And let's just hang out and breathe. You're doing great. We're almost done with the first set. We're gonna work our way into that second set. I'm gonna be contracting this upper part of my leg just for a little added bonus, little added spice for the last 30 seconds. Okay, switch. 30 seconds. And yeah, a minute is probably gonna feel like a long time if you are just starting to stretch and focus on your mobility. So if it's uncomfortable for a full minute, like really uncomfortable, then bump it down to 30. I'm used to it. I actually sometimes will hold static position, static passive stretches for upwards of 5 minutes. But it's totally okay to just take your time. As long as you do a minimum of 30 seconds for 3 sets, I'm fine with that. But we should be able to work our way up to 1 minute. And speaking of which, that's a minute. All right, great work. Let's transition into set number 2. All right, circuit 2, we're gonna go eccentric push-ups. 10 reps first set, 12 reps second set, 14 on the last one. This is kind of challenging. So for some of you folks, you might need to do this on the couch or do an eccentric assisted, which I will show up here whenever it gets to it. And we're gonna do internal rotation in the 90-90 position. So we did our external rotators, now we're gonna do our internal rotators. So let's start with the push-up. Eccentric means just go slowly on the way down. So I'm gonna do a 3 count eccentric on the way down. So we're gonna go for 10 reps here, all right? So you wanna start in that plank position, head to heel straight line. From here, I'm gonna kind of screw in my hands for a little extra kind of stability through the spine. And then I'm gonna go for 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 1 at that pace. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 2. All right, let's go together. 3, and the modified versions should pop up on the screen as soon as I start this. Editing Milad will probably take care of that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are no joke. Okay, so we're back in our 90-90. Now, instead of going forward, what I want to do is I want to think about sitting up straight, and I want to point this shoulder down towards that back heel. That's internal rotation on the back side. And then after that, I'm going to fully twist over. So shoulder goes down towards the heel, and I'm going to sit back, start my timer for 1 minute, and just hang out here. So this one, a lot of folks typically don't train or work on shoulder internal rotation, mobility, and flexibility. So this is probably going to be a tough one for most folks. Now, if you can't get into this position like I am, what might help is if you were to lean back and do it. There's also a couple modified versions of this in the app. Or if you aren't able to do this, shoot me a comment down below, and I will personally send you a link to the modified version of this. Going for a minute here. We're about 20 seconds away from that. It's a hot day here in San Francisco, so I'm already sweating, which is good. I got 10 seconds. Also, those eccentric push-ups are pretty challenging for me, so 12 and 14 are gonna be brutal. Okay, good, let's switch. Oh yeah, there it is. So same thing. I'm gonna start by dipping my shoulder towards my back heel, and then I'm going to sit all the way back and twist. You can even create some leverage by pressing this hand into the opposite non-stretched thigh. We got about 50 seconds left. Let's breathe it out. Another fun fact, if you don't have a timer, what I find helpful is to do about 30 to 40 breaths. So full 1 inhale, 1 exhale is 1 breath, and typically a minute is anywhere between 30 to 40 breaths for most folks, unless you breathe super fast, which you should probably slow down your breathing if you're doing that. Okay, that was a minute. Let's get back into our push-ups. We're going for 12 here. Wish me luck, wish yourself luck. And again, modified versions up top. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, halfway, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last two, I'm gonna do eccentric assisted, so I'm gonna go all the way down, reset, 11. Still pretty hard. Whew. All right, I'm gonna grab some quick water, and then we're gonna go into our internal rotation stretch. So another cool thing about this kind of passive rest time, sort of passive, obviously, is you can kind of just chill. You can grab some water. Let's get into 90-90 first, and dip that shoulder down to your heel. Sit back, feel the stretch down there, and I'm gonna have some water. Woo! It's hot. Yeah, this is real. I'm actually working out. So, you know, it's not fancy, shredded guy or girl, half naked. This is a real person working out and enjoying moving, and also getting more flexible and gaining control over more ranges, which is invaluable. Drink some water. And even I, as a coach, will modify the workout for myself sometimes as well. 15 seconds. I'll probably go same thing, 4 eccentric assisted at the end of the 10 for the 14 reps on the push-ups here. All right, that was a minute. Go ahead and switch, please. Reset our timer. Dip the shoulder down. Push back, hang out, breathe. Halfway. Ten seconds. All right, great work. Let's get back into it. So 14 here. I'm gonna go 10 full ones and then 4 eccentric assisted. You do you, whatever you'd like. Let's get it. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. Woo! Don't forget to breathe. Okay, eccentric assisted for me. 1, 2. Wow. Whew, no joke. All right, back into our last round of internal rotation in the 90-90. I'm tired, so I'm just gonna breathe it out. Ready and go. Halfway. Ten seconds. All right, switcheroo. Woo. All right, working. So yeah, last night I played some pickup basketball at a friend's rec league. I hadn't played since before the pandemic, and pretty sore and fatigued today. So this workout's hitting extra hard, which is kind of nice. Don't have too much of a busy day left today. Hopefully you don't either, or maybe you're starting your day. If you are starting your day and this is like the first thing you're doing, that's freaking awesome. Let me know down in the comments. When are you doing this workout? How are you enjoying the workout? And what you're gonna do after the workout. 30 seconds. Oh, some agua. That's good. Good stuff. About 8 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right. Second set, superset is done, or circuit, sorry. We're gonna go into circuit 3 right now. Okay, superset 3, we're gonna go standing neutral shoulder press, followed by a static couch stretch for the hip flexors. So, our shoulder press, feet hip width apart, toss the dumbbells on your elbows, and then what you wanna kinda do is from here, always keep the palms facing in, kind of do a little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt, keep the core engaged and press overhead. Try to get those dumbbells over your ears without flaring your ribs. If you can't do it, that's totally okay. If you stick to the mobility program, you will be able to eventually do it. So that's 2. We're gonna go for 8, 3, 4. You should feel this in your shoulders, maybe in your core. 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice, great work. All right, static couch stretch. I like to have a little pad for my sensitive volleyball stricken knees. So I'm gonna put the top of my foot down here, sit down on the pillow. Now again, we're gonna go posterior pelvic tilt. Make sure that front ankle is right underneath the knee, and let's go to town. So you should feel that right in front of the hip. If you have super tight quads, you might feel it down closer to the knee. And I'm gonna also post a couple of modified versions somewhere where some people can't get their knees in this flex position without pain, so we just will do it with this foot on the ground. But again, I'll post a version of that for you. In the meantime, just hang out for a minute, breathing. Feels good. Eight seconds. Okay, good. Pop out. Switch sides. Find your position. Roll the pelvis forward. Start. Ah, feels good. Just kind of breathing and hanging. Almost like meditation a little bit. Got about 8 seconds, folks. I'm gonna go back into our dumbbell neutral grip shoulder press. And good, all right, nice work. Let's hop back in. All right, feet hip width apart, palms facing in, slight tuck of the pelvis forward. I even like to have a nice soft bend in my knees as I push up over my ears. 1, control the pelvis and the rib cage. 2, 3, and again, I'm not cranking it out. Nice medium to slow tempo. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, one more, 10. All right, great work. Back to our stretches. Okay, whoops. All right, tuck forward, couch stretch. Starting now for 1 minute. Let's breathe it out. Remember, about 30 to 40 breaths. I kind of have really worked on my breathing, so I kind of breathe a little bit slower. So I kind of could get to a minute around 25 breaths, so kind of play around with it. What I like to do is I'll inhale, and as I exhale, in my mind, I just think 1, 2, 3. And that's kind of very meditative for me. Basically, I'm focusing on my breathing, and then the counting also prevents those like secondary thoughts from popping in. Obviously, it doesn't fully cancel them out, but I find it's a great way to distract myself from those thoughts and really focus in on the breathing. So try that out. Okay, speaking of which, let's switch it up. Roll that pelvis forward. Halfway. Eight seconds. Okay, good. All right, last set. Best set, as I always say. Let's crush these bad boys. So palms facing in the whole way. Tuck. I'm gonna give you that side view just to see what it looks like. Let's go for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Uno más, por favor. 8. Good, nice. Okay, switch it up. Not switch it up, but stretch it out. Last thing you got to do for this circuit, let's start. Tuck that pelvis forward, give your hip flexors some love. So again, this is day 1 of 4 workouts in the longevity phase 1 program. It's 3 phases, 12 weeks long, and then it resets back. So every week you get, every 4 weeks you get a set of new exercises, and it gets a little bit more challenging, and then you reset. So basically, it's all planned out for you. You get a nice app with all of the videos and access to me, all for 25 bucks. Pretty sweet deal. I'm gonna stop selling to you, and we're gonna keep stretching. But anyways, this is a solid program for almost anyone, honestly, because you can really ramp up the weights and you can improve your mobility. And in my opinion, I've been a coach for about 6 years now. Flexibility and strength are just staples in a fitness program. If you have flexibility and you have strength, you don't really need much else. Obviously, cardio, high intensity sprints, things like that, that's great. Go ahead and switch. But if we're talking musculoskeletal system and just overall resilience and functionality, flexibility and strength is huge. And in the longevity program, we also program in cardio days as well. For cardio, so basically what I'll do is I'll do 1 day of my upper and lower, or lower and upper, and then the next day is my off day from resistance training, and I'll stretch, plus I'll do some light cardio. So zone 2, anything where you can kind of, you can hold the conversation while you're doing a cardio, a fast walk, a light jog, but it's slightly uncomfortable to do so. So that's a great way to go about that. And then I like to sprinkle in some high intensity work at least once a week, some 40-yard sprints, 10 rounds of those, and then 2 laps as fast as I can, and then that's pretty much all I need. unless I'm like training for a marathon, half marathon, or whatever. So yeah, I just want you guys to get healthy. I'll shoot some more of these follow along videos, but hopefully you're enjoying it thus far, and I'm happy that you're here with me. All right, that is circuit superset 3. I'll see you on the 4th one. All right, next circuit is going to be a split stance row followed by a hamstring stretch. So the split stance row, we're going to be targeting our mid back and our lats here. Great for the posture. So shoulders down and back, head to heel, relative straight line, and then you're going to pull back with the elbow. Biggest mistake people make here is really elevating their shoulder blades so their neck muscles are all engaged here. So keep that shoulder blade down and back and go at a nice medium tempo. And you can rotate your spine a little bit here as well. And I use that front forearm on my knee to kind of give me an extra bit of support. So it's kind of like you're using your front thigh as a bench. Again, 8 reps here, nice rotation throughout. All right, once we're done with that, we're going to go right into our hamstring wall stretch. So the hamstring wall stretch targeting the hamstrings. A really great way to get to those hamstrings. Plus you get a little bit of decompression, a little bit of massage in your lower back with the use of gravity and the weight of your legs. So this is a great way to build that flexibility in your hamstrings. Good exercise if you have sciatica as well. So hang out here for about a minute. I like to kind of breathe and down-regulate here as well, so you can focus on that. So a little bonus here, if you want to get some shoulder mobility in, make a little T with your upper body, just like that, trying to force the back of your palms down towards the ground. Keep a 90-degree angle at the elbow, so it'll feel nice through the mid-back, especially if you sit at a desk all day. All right, circuit 4, set 2, back to the split stance rows. Again, using that front knee as support. Elbow is pretty tight to the torso, and we're slightly rotating and going down with our shoulder blades and our mid-back as the dumbbell moves away from our body. Again, super important to keep that shoulder blade down and not keep those upper traps involved here. Just looking for the lats and mid-back. 8 per side, switch when you can. All right, great work on those. We're going to go back into the hamstring stretch for 1 minute. And again, feel free to start with that kind of scarecrow position, the T with the shoulders, if you want to start out with that. We're going to go for 1 minute. You should feel it in your hamstrings and maybe a little bit of a nice massage in your lower back. Okay, last set of circuit 4. Again, starting with that split stance row, targeting the mid back. You might even feel a little bit in your biceps and triceps here as well. medium tempo, take your time with it. And I encourage you, if it's feeling really good, make sure you're bumping up the weights or even bumping up the reps. You can do like, 12 reps if you need to. Always try to challenge yourself if you're feeling good that day, if you got some good sleep. All right, great work on those rows. Let's head into our hamstring wall stretch. Last one for this circuit in particular. Hitting those hamstrings, a little bit of lower back fun. Hold for 1 minute. Okay, circuit 5, 3 sets of these. We're going to start with a dumbbell floor press with a bridge isometric. Now, here we're going to be targeting our shoulders, our chest, and our glutes. So you're going to bridge up, hold the bridge, non-working arm out in a fist, and then you're going to do a bench press or a chest press with that dumbbell. Keep the arms at a 45-degree angle. Again, the shoulder blades are depressed down towards your butt, so your neck isn't engaged at all. And again, you should feel this in your triceps and your chest, a little bit in your shoulders, and of course, in your butt. All right, once we're done with the floor bridges, we're gonna go into an adductor and hamstring stretch. So splay out your legs nice and wide, grab your heaviest dumbbell, and we're gonna use that as like leverage, some support, and then just kind of grab onto that dumbbell, lean forward, keep the knees straight. You should feel this in your hamstrings and in your inner thighs, maybe your lower back as well. Try to get as far as you can. With every inhale, you should be able to get a little bit deeper into the stretch. Okay, set 2 of our last circuit, dumbbell floor press with the bridge isometric. Go ahead and lay on the ground. Again, we're gonna bridge up, keep that glute bridge up the whole way. It's gonna be a nice challenge, a nice kind of finisher for the glutes. And again, what I like to think about is the dumbbell is moving in an arc here, so it's not going straight up and down. It's gonna kind of start a little bit higher and then finish a little bit lower under. So basically you want to think about like the dumbbell will start at the bottom position above your kind of breast nipple line, and then it will end at the top slightly under. So it moves in an arc, it's not straight up and down. 8 reps here. And then we're gonna go right into our adductor hamstring stretch for a little bit of lower back, inner thigh, and hamstring action. Hold for a minute. All right, last set, we're almost there. If you made it this far, congrats, you're crushing it. Let me know how you feel down in the comments. I'm curious. I mean, I always feel really good after these types of exercises. I feel loose, I feel strong, and you get kind of a sweat on because you don't really get too much of a rest time in between. So yeah, let me know how it goes down in the comments. Again, dumbbell floor press with the bridge. You should feel in your glutes, your chest, shoulders, and triceps. 8 per side. Feel free to push to 12 if you want. And then last thing you got to do today is the adductor hamstring stretch. Splay out nice and wide. Again, with every exhale, you should try to get a little bit deeper into the stretch. And on the first day that you try this, you might feel like you're not really getting much of a stretch, but I guarantee you just stay in this position, do it for a couple more times, and you're going to feel a lot better in that inner thigh. That was an awesome workout. Thanks for joining me on that one. So that was upper strength, lower mobility, month 1 of longevity. There's 2 of those upper strength, lower mobility workouts and 2 lower strength and upper mobility workouts as well. And then in addition to that, there is 2 more months. So there's a bunch of workouts, a lot of variety. All you need are dumbbells and a bench, and you'll have access to me and Coach Ryan. Down below, you'll find a link to sign up for that program. And then all the other research study, things like that. Let me know how it went for you. If you need any modifications, anything like that, I'd love to hear back from you, and I will see you on the next one.